deep mid wicket, long on, cover sweeper in a deep third, mid off is up in the ring. And now just a tap and run single. Taking on Kenjigate, who misses with the shy of the stumps, but Jahangir backing up at deep mid wicket means it'll just be a single.
I've been impressed with the way Nepal have played that boundary as well. You see the spinners coming on from the river and the opposite end of the ground that you're seeing now. And everything that's on their legs, unless it's very, very straight and quick, they've looked to play over cover because that's their shorter ring. So they're jumping outside their stumps, looking to push that way. You can see here against Jesse Singh, they're freeing up room for their arms to go through the leg side of the ball. And then if it's well outside, they'll just push for one. So they're understanding where their bread is buttered on this pitch, on this type of a surface with the dimensions the way they are. Again, good smart batting for Nepal as they come back to Grand Prairie after a disappointing run of games here in the World Cup.
Slight change in the field on that previous ball just now. Change in the field on that previous to deep backward point with Ali Khan coming up in the ring, and Kenjigate will collect that for a single. So ends a 9-run over, 69 for 1 after 9. Well, you asked Dhamma Patel, is Harmeet Singh going to bowl 4 straight? In a manner of sorts, he still has a chance. He's just switched ends, so he bowled 1 over from the opposite end, and now he comes on from the broadcast end for his 2nd over in the 10th. Bullseye! Harmeet rattles the stumps, pumps his fists, and now it's 69 for 2.
And this is why Harmeet Singh is so very good. He recognized what Nepal is trying to do, create room to free their arms through the offside. This time, a touch fuller, stayed straight onto the bat. And that time, no room to clear his arms over that cover boundary. That's brilliantly done from Harmeet Singh, and the USA have picked up wicket number 2, 69 for 2. And that'll be drinks here in Grand Prairie. We'll take a quick intermission while we wait.
हुन्छ क्या स्विप सटहरु हाल्नु
$69 for 2 here in the 10th over, coming back from the drinks break as Rohit Paudel, the captain, enters for Nepal, following the wicket of Asif Sheikh, who was trying to create room, backing away to cut, and went too far, exposing his stumps, allowing Harmeet Singh to connect with middle stump, and just a stock delivery angled in from around the wicket. So, Bertel on 7 at the non-striker's end. They opt not to bring a slip into place. Again, the boundary alignment. There's a cover sweeper, long on, long off, deep mid-wicket. Just 4 men on the boundary at the moment for the new bat, Paudel, as he gets off strike with a single.
Yeah, Rohit will be the key man here for Nepal. He's coming off a really good run with the batting Canada on tough wickets. He was the second leading run scorer in that tri-series, and I want to bring that form back to down to Grand Prairie, and this partnership is going to be important. They're running for 2. This is good. This is what's going to be needed against Harmeet Singh. You're not going to be able to hit him for many boundaries. They don't come quite often, and with the longer boundary out on that side of the ground to the leg side, if you tuck it there, there's probably always 2 involved.
Well, especially when you've got no protection in the ring inside of, on the leg side in front of square. Long way for Ali Khan to run to track that one down. And they ran that second easily. Good awareness from both Bertel and Rohit Paudel. Going for the sweep. And there's protection out of deep backward square, so it'll just be a single.
Yeah, again, we mentioned that partnership. We mentioned here the ability to rotate is going to be so key. Even though you're eyeing 180, there's so many different gears you can get to in T20 cricket, and I feel some people lose that. The ability just to find one, and that's why Paudel, when they went to Canada on that tough wicket, was able to find success. He's not so dependent on the boundary ball. And he's going to run Kushal Bertel around as well.
Very shrewd cricket we're seeing here from Nepal. The captain, as soon as he tapped that one off the bat, he weighted it very nicely. Aaron Jones, a long way to come in off the boundary, even though he's already cheating in 10 to 15 yards already on that huge boundary on that side of the ground. 82 yards on that side. And Aaron Jones, in spite of the fact that he is arguably USA's fastest runner, he couldn't cut off that second. So 1 ball left in the over. More flight this time. And Rohit Paudel didn't seem to know what to do with that one. Tried to tap it into the offside, but Kenjige swoops in to deny the run. 6 runs and the wicket off the first ball of the over. As Harmeet dismisses Asif Sheikh. 75 for 2 after 10. Kenjige. Bullseye. Nash gets the wicket. And Kushal Bertel tried to use his feet, and it backfired. It's 75 for 3.
Again, trying to use the feet to just drop one and get a single. Wasn't trying to go big. Problem was he was playing for more turn than there was. I think this one just continued on with the arm from Kenjige and rattles on to off stump. This is a great start here from the 2 left arm spinners. Again, Nash Kenjige, this is what he does. Harmeet Singh gets a wicket and Nash is able to take advantage at the other end. And over number 11 opens up with the wicket, 75 for 3.
$75 for 3 in the 11th as one of 2 left-handers in the Nepal lineup. Gulshan Jha comes to the crease. Kenjige and Harmeet Singh, the left-arm spinners, taking wickets in consecutive overs to start off each over. And Jha, the 18-year-old, was mighty impressive up in King City with the bat. This one a little bit shorter.
The interesting decision to bring Gulshan Jan now. Again, he had a great run with the bat in King City, but made a name as a finisher, striking it at over 170. You just feel on this surface you can save him for the last 5, keep some wickets in hand, and let him tee off then. Asking him to almost rebuild, as Rohit Baldo does well to get back into the crease. Just feels out of place for a youngster who's just finding his footing in international cricket.
Goes big, and he's going to clear. Jesse Singh it long on. That is a huge 6 on the deepest side of the ground.
Well, Gulshan Jan just said, Aman Patel, what do you know? It doesn't matter if it's over 15 or over 11. I'm going to find the full ball and send it over the rope for 6. That's brilliantly done. It's the longer side of the ground as well, and he's just picked it up. Touched over pitch from Kenjige, but it just speaks to the power of Gulshan Jan.
That is a mighty impressive hit, considering the way the boundary dimensions have been divided up on this wicket tonight. This time, not quite as lusty. Well short of long off, and they'll get just a single for that. Well, we've only counted 5 balls. I've only written down 5 balls, unless I missed something there, Aman. They've called the over. And it's 82 for 3 after 11. Well, pencil and paper has never failed humanity since the time of the Egyptians, Zaman. I only wrote down 5, and our graphics crew only had 5 balls, and there's a reason for that, because there were only 5 balls. So everybody's got to get back in the position now for the final ball of the over.
Well, it wasn't, the graphics didn't even fail that time, Peter, so I can't even blame the internet on that one, but there we go. Got it rectified in the end. I think all Nepal fans will be happy. I actually did hear the screams from the crowd, 1 ball. And they want to see Rohit Baldo get 1 more delivery from Naj Kenjige. Now this could go one of 2 ways. This could be a really good sign for Nepal. You can get the boundary from this. It could end up being a dot, or this might be Kenjige's 2nd wicket of the day. How often you talk about a break and play creates those wickets.
Paudo, such good footwork. He's looking for 2, but again, on the shorter boundary, it's going to be a lot more difficult to get. Now we've got the over officially completed. 8 runs and a wicket. It's 83 for 3 after 11.
Getting booed.
83 for 3 at the start of the 12th over is Ali Khan, who's already taken a wicket tonight. Comes back for his 3rd over. Usually somebody, they would hold both of his remaining overs back to the death. They're bringing him back here in the 12th. What do you make of this, Aman?
Well, they're looking to break this partnership. I think Malang Patel knows that this is the moment. These 2 are the 2 bats in form. Can you get one of Baudel or Jai, you would really just start to make inroads into this Nepali lineup. And Peter, I think this might be the first time Ali Khan's ever gotten booed playing in Texas. This is where he calls home. And as he comes into bowl, the Nepali fans have let him have it, but he feels like a Terrell Owens who played for the Cowboys. He likes to be the villain. He likes to be the showman, getting the hate.
Well, all we need, Aman, is for there to be a giant star painted overlaying the square, and then Ali Khan takes the wicket and just stands on the star with his arms outstretched, and then we get the full Terrell Owens.
Well, if the saying goes that the reason the star was there and the sunlight is on AT&T Stadium is that God watches from that patch of sunlight. If God is watching any cricket in the United States, you'd have to imagine it's at Grand Prairie Stadium, so there would be no bigger stage for Ali Khan to do it. But again, I don't think Nepal is going to fall into this trap of feeling they need to win the battle. Just you see the nature of Rohit Baudo, how calm he is, even with his young stature. He just senses out the occasions, understands when to go big, when to slow things down. For Gulshan Jha, this would be a good test. Again, Ali Khan. Lower deliveries and warm-ups. Do we see them now?
Pace on. And it goes off the pads. It's going to be a leg by, finally signaled by Vijay Malella.
You just feel things have kind of heated up a little bit. Naj Kenjige with the direct hit. Something's going to give with Ali Khan bowling. He's going to be searching for a wicket ball. You know, Baudo's going to be comfortable taking ones or twos, but he's able to put the bad ones away. And you just feel Ali Khan is almost one delivery away from trying his Yorker. Trying to force it, hearing the crowd as he runs in.
You talked about the Yorker, but the field is set for that short ball, that bouncer. He's got a deep backward square leg and a deep square leg out in place along with a deep third as Rohit Baudo. He's not going to back down from Ali Khan, but Ali Khan is looking awfully feisty out there right now.
And he's made sure to tell Rohit Baudo. He said too quick on the way through. Again, Ali Khan, he's a character. He's in the contest, and you mentioned what happened in 2022 down here in Texas and the ODIs, and it's no love lost 2 years later.
Does search out that Yorker, doesn't get it full enough as Jahangir with a brief bobble, but still keeps it to just a single.
And again, really smartly done from Rohit Baudo, you'd have to say. All he's done there is just push it into the gap and not try to put any impetus onto Ali Khan. He's let Ali Khan play his game, and this would be good for Gulshan Jha at the other end, who, you know, as a young cricketer, you can kind of just let your emotions get swayed to one side or the other based on the flow of the game. But to see your captain standing out there just would give you that sense of calm as we see long off being brought into the ring by Ali Khan.
Back of the length. And beats Mukamala, sliding across a deep backward square leg. Again, it's a short boundary over there. He tucked up Gulshan Jha, but Jha negotiated that delivery very nicely to get a boundary.
Yeah, did really well there. Picked up the pace and pushed it away. Nepal fans loving it. As we close out over number 12, it's 90 for 3.
So Monank Patel, USA captain, continuing to do his best to keep the Nepal batters from getting a chance to settle. He continues to rotate his bowlers around. Harmeet Singh, in essence, has bowled an unbroken spell, but it's been done through changing ends after each over. So he bowled the 7th from this end, then switched ends to come on for the 10th, and now he's come back from this same end for the start of the 13th. Taking one wicket. Baudo using his feet elegantly. This one's going to land safely. They're going to come back for 2. A lot of real estate out there before Jesse Singh can collect and relay it back.
Yeah, looked out there, Rohit Baudo. Didn't intentionally just chip it over there. He's looking to play big for that 6. It's just, again, we talked about the boundary dimensions over there. And I think that's why Harmeet Singh is brought in from this end of the ground, understanding that these two are going to look to score in that region.
Sweep in the air. It's not going to carry to Yasser Muhammad, who's on as a substitute at the moment for USA. Paulo loves that sweep shot. And it's not got to go very far to clear that boundary on the leg side, but he's also got to be careful. That nearly was a catching opportunity for Yasser Muhammad.
And this will be the interesting matchup. You'll have the left arm spinner bringing it back in to the left-handed Zhao. You'll favor that, but again, the boundary being bigger to the leg side of the left-hander with a subtle breeze blowing from that direction. Odds stacked against hitting boundaries in that area. So Goshen Zhao would have to be aware. You know, Harmeet Singh would want to entice that as backward point and third man come inside the ring.
Goes reverse. Bullseye! Harmeet hits the stumps for a second time tonight. He tried to get too adventurous at Gulshan Jat. Pays the price. It's 93 for 4.
Yeah, we've talked about it. Knew that he couldn't access that leg side because of the bigger boundary. And with point and third man inside the ring, he's elected to try to take it over that region. But it's too full yet again to sweep. We've seen it once already. It's just too full. It's gone straight through him. You mentioned Clint Dempsey earlier. That's a nutmeg. If we were talking soccer and the USA and Harmeet Singh, they're loving life at the moment. They pick up wicket number 4. It's 93 for 4.
Nepal 93 for 4. DS Irie comes to the crease. On his passport, it says Tapendra Singh Irie. I like to call him Dynamite Singh Irie. He's explosive.
He's well worth that title, Peter. You've already talked about it. 6 sixes in and over and 6 off 6 different balls. But it's a tough challenge facing Harmeet Singh. And again, this is exactly why Monik Patel has brought him in. He's searching for that wicket. He's trying to get Irie into the middle as early as possible. Don't let him sit for the last 5 and play the role he likes to. Make him have to rebuild.
Harmeet not allowing him to get off the mark here, cramping him for room.
Again, this is how good Harmeet Singh is. He varies his length so well. We've seen the odd delivery too full, and then this time he's pulled it back.
And he continues to keep him tied down with that back of the length as Irie. It's 93 for 4 after 13.
Seven overs remain for Nepal to work with. You would imagine these two at the crease going to be critical. One of the things that Rob Powell likes to do, he likes to late cut and dab and scoop and use the pace on the ball. But the two left-arm spinners, particularly Harmeet Singh, outstanding again, Aman Patel.
Yeah, yet again, we've talked about it. Since he's come into international cricket, he's been so very good, whether it's the ODI format or the T20 format. It's the reason he was the number 1 overall pick in Major League Cricket back in 2023. And Nash Kinjage showing he's no slouch either.
Big kind of litmus test here now, isn't there, for Nepal as well? What we'll see them do is run between the wickets cleverly. But this batting order, it's a drastic change, isn't it? Arif Sheikh into the team. But he's not in yet. He's at number 7. And then it's, the two all-rounders, Sampal Kami and Karen KC at 8 and 9. And then really just the two bowlers after that. You were speculating that maybe Gulshan Jazz come in too early. And then with no Kushal Malla in the side, it isn't the makeup that I thought we'd see in the 11. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I can understand Sumpal Kami coming in, just trying to get that seam option on this surface that might offer a little bit of swing. But you mentioned Kushalmala. He is the kind of batter that will dig in and just kind of sustain your innings and allow your bigger hitters around him to flourish. And without him, you just feel Ja and Irie tend to get out of place. They're forced to bat in situations that are different.
And there's also no Lalit Rajbanshi in the team, so very contrasting approaches from the two sides. Obviously, USA will have better experience of the conditions, but both teams were here during the T20 World Cup. Shouldn't be completely alien. 3 batters in the 15 that we've now been given. Wasn't really much of a squad announcement. I think they were still trying to work out whether they could get Sandeep Lamachani in time or not. As Dipender Singh Irie, well, quite stunning. That is the stroke of the day. The 100's come up. It's the stroke of the series thus far. He's joined an exclusive list with 6 sixes and an over this year. And this shot, every bit better than them. Inside out over extra, all the way for 6.
And Nash Kenjige read that as well. He's pushed it out even straighter towards him. And even then, he's adjusted very, very late. Kept the shape on the short side of the ground. Ends up being 6. And it's more the footwork, everything that happened before he played the ball that made that 6 so special. And then you just have to add he played into out over extra cover.
Absolutely stunning stroke, and maybe a sign of things to come if Irie can get going in the last 6. Nepal have a good platform. What can they do with it? It's 105 for 4. So Paudel and Dipender Singh Irie, both to double figures and going about it in different ways. Nosh Kenjige's finished his spell. 4 overs, 1 for 36 for him. Little expensive today. 6 overs remain. Aman, 160, probably not going to be enough, is it, on what looks a very good batting surface? Nepal would want more than that.
Yeah, again, we speculated 180 is probably what you're looking at. Having been here just 10 days ago for that minor league final, 173 was chased down with about 3 overs to go. So 180 is definitely achievable, but when you bowl well, things can happen. We saw a team got bowled out for 126 on this surface. 36 all that was the lowest score we saw. So definitely things can happen, but you give yourself an uphill task if you don't get to that 170 mark. Netravalkar
to return. Dipender Singh Irie fascinates me as a cricketer in everything he does. He does it at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He runs between the wickets swiftly. He fields exceptionally well. I think his bowling in this format's so good, but his batting in some ways is underrated, isn't it, in T20 cricket? You look at his career numbers. He's the leading run scorer in this format. He's got one of the best strike rates, over 140, and he's averaging more than 35. Why was he batting number 8 in Canada?
You're almost thinking about the wicket almost. I think that's probably what Monte Desai did. He was just thinking would save him, try to hit bigger, try to get a guy to be a finisher and play in a more natural approach, and not force him to try to dig out innings. And like you mentioned, his strike rate is so good. I just feel that maybe Monte Desai felt that let's just have him play his natural game. It came off in a couple of matches, but it did feel low even as an outsider watching in.
Yeah, he didn't probably get the returns that you would have expected, but he was coming in right at the death. In fact, in one of the games, I think he was in with only 5 balls remaining, and he got 18 off 5 balls. So certainly you'd think he's been underutilised. So I think him up the order is a good thing, up to number 5, but probably would have kept with Kushalmala in there as well, particularly with the 2 left-arm spinners in the USA lineup. Almost too many options sometimes for Nepal. But Irie, well, he looks full of verve, doesn't he? And he's very much into his work. These two are lightning quick between the wickets. But Jones, cleverly, he's 15, 20 yards off that bigger boundary, cuts off the second.
Yeah, something to watch for. Again, that's where this game feels like it's going to be won or lost. Your ability to take advantage of that bigger boundary as a fielding unit, and then again as a batting unit. How does that chess match continue to play? We've seen Aaron Jones be up 15 yards, and then we've seen other fielders kind of drift towards the rope, and that's when Bodo was able to take a couple of 2s alongside Kushal Bertel. So curious to see how that plays for the rest of this innings and then into the USA innings.
Innovation. Oh, an exceptional innovation. It's not going to be 6, but it will be 4. We were just talking about how he likes to ramp and scoop and use the pace on the ball. He sees fine leg up in the circle, and he gets it for a critical boundary. Good stroke.
Well, it's a safe shot because fine leg is inside the ring. Just had to get any bit of bat on it. He's gotten it outside the off stump as well. Well done. There again, we talked about his ability to play behind square. Rohit Baldo, he's able to do it yet again, and this is why this 24-year-old is really just ascended into Nepali stardom. The captain now, and again, he's put together a fine knock.
He's a fine captain as well. He's certainly grown with the role as he's taken the reins. It has been a tricky year in some ways for Nepal. There hasn't been the wins the fans have wanted. This one's guided away. Should be a couple again because Powdell's so quick between the wickets despite the fact that it's Kenjige. Oh, he is rapid, isn't he? Himself and Dipender Singh Airi as quick as there are for Nepal and maybe as quick as there are in the world game. Exceptional running again.
Yeah, and that's why you're almost surprised about the results column for Nepal this year. They haven't gotten those wins. The World Cup, they were close to beating South Africa. I remember you were hanging your heart on that game down there when we were in Florida. But
I was in a dark place at the end of that game. Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair. I think physically and emotionally you were both in a dark place.
I didn't know what to feel. I was so proud of one of the best associates. I was so proud of all the associates at the World Cup, but it was the game of the tournament, wasn't it, in so many ways? And it just was so close. Heartbreaking. The way Gulshan Jazz bounced back since then, I've been so impressed with. 5 remain. 1-1-5 for 4. Just the 5 bowlers used thus far for USA. Maybe a little bit of a surprise, no Milind Kumar, given that had that 5-wicket haul, didn't he? Second in T20I history for USA.
Yeah, I think it's just because Harmeet Singh was continuing to produce wickets, and that got Nash Kenjige to find his way into the wicket column. I think had you had seen Nash go wicketless in his 3rd over, you probably would have seen Milind Kumar in. But it just goes to show the amount of bowling options you have if you're USA, and Monik Patel uses his bowlers so well.
Yeah, no Yasser Mohammed today, the leg spinner not in the team, and Janoy Drysdale also missing out, who's had some good moments since he's come into the international game. Big over this one, it's the last one of Harmeet Singh, and immediately pedals down the ground at him. Harmeet Singh, you probably were watching the coverage, I know you were watching the coverage in the Netherlands. You started to get a sense as to just how impactful he's going to be. I know at any level, you saw him at the World Cup, exceptional. But at the associate level, for USA, they have uncovered an absolute diamond here.
I think it's his ability to adjust. I think a lot of times in the limited format game, it's all about your ability to adapt to situations. And a lot of associate cricket is about how well you can adapt, how quickly you can adapt. That's what Netherlands are, one of the more unbeatable sides, because even in tricky situations, they find a way to carve out good innings with the ball or the bat. And Harmeet Singh does just that. While he's someone with the bat is very explosive, he can carve out an innings. And then with the ball, you just saw it there. He knows Baldo's going to sweep him. He's pulled the length, slowed it down, and he's just changed things.
Misfield, bit of a sloppy piece of work there at backward point. Powdell's even thinking of a 3rd. Yeah, he just looks like the kind of guy in an ODI is not going to go for more than 40, and in a T20, if you take him for more than a run of ball, you probably had a pretty decent day against him. He's picked up the 2 wickets here. Fast hands from Irie. Poor Misfield. Might have been, it was Saiteja Mukamala, wasn't it, at backward point. Down the leg side, whipped round the corner. Protection out there. Will cut it off, and brilliant work from Kenjige. Cuts off the 2nd as well.
Pretty smart batting as well from Dipender Singh Airi. It's a similar way he got into that stroke that he hit Nash Kenjige for that 6 over extra cover. Harmeet Singh was much quicker through the air, so he just used his wrist to whip it around. You saw him make that extra room, and that's why Dipender Singh Airi, again, always in the runs, because he's just able to find gaps and manufacture those scoring options.
Don't think it's a bad result for Nepal here just to get through this over. It's rare you'd say that in the 16th, but with 4 to remain, with pace coming back on the ball from Ali Khan, and with Jesse Singh to target, I know he's got better at the death. these two are just so critical. It's only really Arif Sheikh to come as an out-and-out batter. Get through the spell. Don't give Harmeet Singh a third wicket. They'll do a bit better than that. They'll get a single. It rounds out an exceptional spell of bowling. They're going to get two. I've no idea how they've got two there. Depender Singh Aries run two faster than I talked one. It's the end of the 16th. It's 121 for 4. So, projected scores. What do we think they can get to? 160 is probably what we would anticipate being likely. Aman Patel, will it be enough?
Again, they're going to have to bowl out of their skin. They're going to look to their pace bowlers to be really effective. There's not a lot of turn on offer. Haven't seen any big turn from any of the deliveries. No cracks in that wicket. Ball comes on nicely, and you have a USA team that's kind of on a bit of a roll with the bat in hand. Saiteji Mukamala in really a purple patch alongside Andres Kels. Monik Patel's batting well, and then Aaron Jones is coming off a CPL final where he delivered the winning run. So this is a batting lineup that's full of confidence. If you get to 160, you give yourself a chance, but you're going to have to bowl out of your skin.
Yeah, it's a funny matchup, isn't it? Firstly, it's the first time we've seen a T20I between these sides. Secondly, with due credit to America's bowling and with due credit to Nepal's batting, probably the strength for both teams lays in what we'll see in the second innings. America's batting versus Nepal's bowling and fielding. That's kind of their stronger suits. Okay, there's no Lamachani today, so you might say maybe the advantage lies with USA. But these last 4 overs, they could well go a long way to dictating this contest. They'll want at least 10 per over from here as Jesse Singh returns. Nairi has been really positive, hasn't he, right from the off. And putting America under lots of pressure in the field. This is the first ever edition of this Stake Stars and Summit Trophy 2024. Always love things being given a name. Is this going to be a rivalry we'll see lots more of in years to come?
I would hope so. I mean, there's a big Nepali community here in the States. You can see it in numbers out here. Grand Prairie just continues to grow, and anytime these two teams play, there seems to be that fire. We already saw with Ali Khan, and again, two teams that just make magic happen out there. You'd hope this becomes an annual thing.
Again, innovation attempted. You can see why he's looking for it. Third and fine leg both up in the circle. In general, I know it's varied a lot over the conditions they've played at, but we look at ODIs, 5 and 5. In general, they're two pretty closely matched sides as well. Yeah,
like you mentioned, it's usually been the bowling of Nepal versus the batting of the USA, and the bowling of Nepal, they always just seem to pull something magical. I remember that ODI that ended in a tie. There was no way that game should have been a tie. USA had that all wrapped up, but Nepal just found a way in front of those home fans.
And the crowd are getting into it. They were chanting, Rohit, 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 as Singh ran up. He delivers a boundary, probably not where he wanted to, but they do just bring such energy, such passion, such enthusiasm, those Nepal fans. And it's 4 more to the total.
First 2 were slower. This one's seam up. The problem with this is the line of it. It's way too wide. It just allows Rohit Baudo to free the hands, and with third man inside the ring, anything is going to find the rope.
Well, I think the stare from Andreas House indicated that was not the plan. Wide and with pace on. Okay, it's not exactly where Powell intended it, but an edge is good enough for 4. He's trying to hide it away, isn't he? He's trying to protect the shorter side. Remember, this is the second last over with the shorter leg side boundary. Well, that is extraordinary. The quality of innovation from Rohit Powell. We saw him scoop 1 for 6 in King City. This hasn't gone all the way, but in many ways it's more impressive. And Andries House has the look of a keeper who's been battered and bruised by Nepal's captain.
Andres House looks to first slip as this one goes. He says, where's my slip cordon? Because that's brilliant. Again, third man's inside the ring, so he's had to place that into the gap. And how about this? Jesse Singh went pace off. There wasn't pace on the ball, and Rohit Baudo is just showing that this is an area he can score in, and Andres House is not having a fun time returning to Dallas.
I don't think Andries House would make the greatest poker player, giving away every piece of his emotions as the ball is delivered. We're seeing a fascinating fielding position now. Ali Khan is almost kind of a fly second slip, and the crowd chanting out Rohit. They're on their feet. It's edged towards Ali Khan, but it's over his head. Make it a trio, a trifecta of boundaries. 4-4-4, all behind the keeper. And House, he's got his hands on his hips.
Well, when it's going your way, it's just going your way. He's moved into the perfect position, Ali Khan. They moved him there knowing that there's a delivery probably coming in that direction, and it's just hung over his head. Ali Khan's got up into the air, and he tried to do his best Odell Beckham Jr. impression, couldn't do it. And Andres House has more complaints about what's happening right now out there in the field.
Gotta give a bit of credit to the DJ as well. The DJ's pumping this crowd up in a big way. Great music ringing out. We might have to go in and get a few Nepali tunes into him. What do you reckon?
Well, if there's anyone to do it, it's the man sitting to my left at the moment.
Bit of Nepali Ho. big Nepali Ho fan. Maybe a bit of Tanka Timil Sina ringing out around the Grand Prairie Stadium. 3 back-to-back boundaries. Final ball incoming. Down the ground this time, but Manang Patel moves so well in the field, doesn't he? Like many keepers do when they go to the outfield. 17 bowled there, are 14 runs from that over. 135 for 4. There's the stake projected scores. 162 at 9 per over. The current rate would only get them to 158. We feel it's a middling total. They're not ahead of the game, but they're not necessarily behind it hugely either, Aman.
No, you give yourself an opportunity to win the game. You're going to have to bowl incredibly well. Early wickets will be the key. If they can somehow manage to get to 174, you'd call them right in the contest. 158 would probably be low. They're probably trying to middle out around 165 and see where they can operate in there, and I think the Nepali fans would love it if you see another 13-run over, especially coming off of the man who's taken the new ball, Ali Khan.
Well, it's 7:06 a.m. back in beautiful Nepal, in Kathmandu and Bhairawa and Biratnagar, and if you're just waking up, this is going to be a box office over. Here comes Ali Khan. Guided away, and just short of Jesse Singh, who does well with the dive. Won't be able to prevent the second. You can see Powdell every time he's trying to use the pace on the ball. Very, very clever batting. Iree just can't seem to get on strike right now.
No, Iree's been held off, so not a bad result for USA. He's looking to play that much finer. There's 2 fielders in that area, so the USA have understood that Rohit Baldo's going to look to score here and is daring him to play it extra fine and hopefully for the Americans, get a hedge out to Andres House. But if you're Nepal, do you worry that Iree's just been held off strike now?
They want his pyrotechnics, don't they? And they're not getting them right now. Mid-off up in the circle. Long on goes back. Brilliant Yorker from the Yorker King. He does love occasions like this. You almost suspect if this was USA versus Oman or UAE, with due credit to them, I'm not sure Ali Khan would even be here. But it's just as soon as he heard Nepal are in town, all of a sudden the hand goes up. I'm available for that one.
Well, you mentioned the Instagram post he had. There was a look in the eye, wasn't there? He knows the occasion, and again, he's one of those cricketers that just sense the big moment, and hearing the crowd jeer him with every step he takes is only going to boost his confidence and boost his desire to want to affect the game, whether it's running 23, 47, or now 43.
Whipped into the leg side. That's a good stroke. There's 2 fielders out there. It's right between the 2 of them. And Netravalkar will have to do the fielding. They might think of a third on the arm here, but Netravalkar does enough to get it in. Yeah, you just sense Nepal need a late surge here. They're up to 140. 15 balls left. These 15 balls, they could decide the first game.
Yeah, very well could. Like you mentioned, you're going to have to find a way to find some boundaries, whether that's going to come off Jesse Singh. If that's the ball they've targeted, all right, you still have to get out of this over with probably 8 to 10 runs, just because you're behind that required run rate at the moment.
Good fast hands from Iree. It's an area that he favours, and it's another misfield. And almost every single fan, probably 1,500 or so now in the gates here in Grand Prairie, they're on their feet because they've come to watch this man, Dipendra Singh Iree.
Well, it's been a spot of bother for the USA today, that backward point region. It's not that wide, but you can just see how quickly he got onto the back foot, how quick the hands were. think that's Saiteja Mukamala yet again, who's just unable to stop that one. Again, the fast whip from Adri undoes it. 4 runs.
Good Yorker, very well bowled. Now Powdle is so quick, they'll think of a second. They're going to get it easy. Exceptional between the wickets, these two. So fast. He's now the 2nd ranked T20I all-rounder in the world, Dipender Singh. He's only 14 points behind Liam Livingstone of England. Has been a bit of talk on a few of the fan forums in and around Nepal. They've never had anyone number 1 in the world. Irie with a good in his final one. He goes for 15. Nepal are on the charge. It's 150 for 4. Well, loving every second. Few jackets on because actually when the sun has disappeared, it's just got a little bit chillier. We've got 3 T20s. Remember, if you are watching on from anywhere within the Texas area, or maybe you're in another part of America, you're thinking of flying down, get those tickets on tickets.majorleaguecricket.com. And they've been really well priced. We're expecting close to full houses for both Saturday and Sunday. And if Nepal got off to a 1-0 lead in the series, you suspect a few more might cram in here to Grand Prairie.
It might be over capacity if we get a 1-0 lead here from Nepal. And again, this is the late surge they need, and we expect the fans to be out here every night. Beautiful nights here at Grand Prairie. You'll get to see a beautiful sunset, the moon rise, and then cricket under the lights.
Netravalkar to bowl the 19th. He's so clever here, isn't he? With these cutters, and the pace is going to come off. Powdle's going to try target the leg side. It's the shorter boundary, 64 yards out to there. But this will be a game of cat and mouse here between these two.
Yeah, you mentioned Netravalkar's ability to be very good in this situation, as we see this final boundary there, just away from the outstretched hand of Milind Kumar. Netravalkar usually would come around the wicket here, try to angle it into the right-handed batter, but since knowing that the short side is to the leg side of the righty, he's going to push it out wide, slow it down, and dare Powdle to drag it all the way across.
Cut away. Now, there are 2 men out there, but Powdle's got a good piece of it, and he'll pick up a couple. The Nepal fans are starting to create the most marvellous atmosphere, all on their feet, all chanting, Nepal, Nepal. We're not right now in Tamil, in Kathmandu. We're here in Texas. Great scenes.
Yeah, brilliant. Starting to feel what I've heard in your YouTube videos there. Lenny, congratulations, 50,000 subscribers on the channel.
We got there, yeah.
And
had to pull a few teeth to get there.
And it's because of things like this, to see the atmosphere live on that. And again, we're getting to see a piece of that now in this final over.
They're now chanting row it again. Hammered away over the head of a man. It's a maximum, and they're dancing in the stands here in Grand Prairie. One of their favourite sons, the national team captain, Rohit Powdle, he goes to 40, and things starting to move Nepal's way.
Fielder was in place. Powdle's just connected sweetly. It's all gone to plan for Saurabh Netravalkar here. He slowed it down. He's gotten him to drag it outside the off stump, but he's just cleared it with ever such ease. And this is brilliant as Powdle now moves past 40. He's on to 46, and he's given these Nepali fans something to cheer about.
For me, they've got their 2 best T20 batters right now at the crease. I know Gulshan Jah has been exceptional in recent times. I know Kushal Bertel got off to a flying start in his T20I career, but these 2 for me are their 2 best batters. Their highest run scorer and their national team captain. He's just accelerated through the gears beautifully here, isn't he? He was going at, well, barely even a run a ball in the 20s, and he's just caught up in a matter of moments. That 175, maybe even 180 could be on the cards. Big 9 deliveries left. Gets it into the blocko. Will just be a single. 50 partnerships come up now. I think that has actually brought it up to 60 these two have put on. How important has this partnership been?
It changed the game. Again, when we saw Gulshan Jah go, you just felt, all right, this could go really either way. With Dipender Singh walking in the 13th over. How are they going to be able to manufacture that 180 total we're talking about? There you go, 66 from just 37 deliveries. And again, game-changing, and it's put the USA under pressure. We haven't seen it in the last month. where the USA have felt panicked out there in the field. And right now there's a lot of hanging heads, there's a lot of wandering eyes searching for what the right answer is for this partnership.
A whip into the offside, protection out there and taken. That's the disparity in the boundary lengths. You can see it there, fast hands from Irie. You can't blame him for taking it on. He's probably trying to get it over extra, but it just skews a little bit off the outside edge. He's gone for a rapidly made 28, doesn't look overly pleased. The question is, who's going to replace him? Surely it's got to be Karen KC.
You'd have to imagine. It's not a bad option. Again, the fast hands looking to take the Yorker over top of cover. Aaron Jones, welcome back to USA Colors, taking his first catch back, but well done here from the USA. Well done, though, from Depinder Singh Irie. His 28, a valuable contribution. It's 159 for 5.
Well, it is that man, Karen Casey, the folk hero from the far west. He's a remarkable servant. He really is. He's been exceptional for an awfully long time. He's the most capped T20I player, just a couple of caps ahead of Depinder Singh Irie and Sampal Kami, and he hits a big ball straight down the ground. And he may well have snuck off from his very first delivery. He has. Netravalkar was convinced, Karen KC a little less so, and after what seemed like an age, the finger does go up, caught behind and gone for a golden duck as Aditya Gajar does get the finger up, albeit it took a little while to do so.
Yeah, this was an interesting passage of play, wasn't it? Netravalkar was convinced. Is that a little deflection? Has it just come off? I think it has, and you can see Netravalkar straight away was asking for it. And then right there, that's the moment. Karan KC not as convinced, but back-to-back strikes for Netravalkar. Karan KC goes without troubling the scorers, 159 for 6.
So 1 over remains, a double blow from Sarav Netravalkar to round out his figures, make them look a bit better for 2 for 35. Here's Jesse Singh to bowl the final. Now that could well be a no ball. It's going to be very marginal. The two umpires have a look at each other and decide that it was dipping beneath the waist of Rohit Paudel as Arif Sheikh is in at number 8, who'll come on to strike now. This was marginal.
Very marginal. Could have been gone either way. And this has kind of been the real story of Jesse Singh's career, especially bowling in the death. He struggles here. This is the wicket. Again, this is the reason we're going to see Arif Sheikh on strike. And it's just come off the edge. Right there, you reckon. I think he's both got the bottom edge to hit the ground and the top edge to get through to the keeper.
Carved away by Arif Sheikh, but straight to the man. And well held by Shaihan Jahangir. It's a late glut of wickets falling. That's 3 in 4 deliveries, and the momentum is being sapped out of Nepal's innings. It's another golden duck. The first one was Karen KC, and now Arif Sheikh. You can't really blame him. He struck it well, targeted the shorter side, but he picked out the deep cover fielder.
Yeah, anywhere to the right or left of Shaihan Jahangir would have been 6 runs, but the keeper by trade uses his hands quite well out in the deep. It's gone high, it's flat, it's quick, and he's done well to hold on to this in the end and keep his feet straight there. Well done, Shaihan Jahangir. And Nepal starting to falter now. 159 for 7.
Sampal Kami to the crease. He's probably to scamper to get his pads on, as Nepal have lost 3 wickets in 4 balls, but he's done just what his team needed and got his captain on to strike. Well, he wants the second. Could well nearly be run out, but he gets home safely. questionable call. Surely Powell should have been on strike.
Yeah, I don't love that option, especially with what Baldo did to Jesse Singh in Singh's last over. Hit him for 3 consecutive boundaries. Again, you like the aggressive running, but this is not the situation for it. And I just think the quick feet from Nepal got in their own way. Jesse Singh, this has been really the trouble signs for him, is in the death. He's improved leaps and bounds since that major league competition where he came in and was a revelation, but this will be a new test for him, trying to figure it out in the death.
Now the question is this out? It is, because we're not in a great position. It's Boldham, sorry. It's straight through, and Jesse Singh has made him pay the price for taking that second rung. There's confusion everywhere out there. Jesse Singh's appealing, and Vijaya Malala says, can't give it out, it's bold.
Yeah, we saw the finger very low. I was like, is that a new dismissal option there? But no, he just pointed out the stumps. Again, interesting to see Sampal Kami take the second run, because surely one row at Baldo taking that wild hack. Instead, he's just opened up the stumps. He's trying to go through the leg side. And yeah, you can see there, through bat and pad, hits the top of off, and Jesse Singh hasn't realized it.
Singh is still appealing. He's still appealing. Another Nepali batter falls. It's all happening in the final 8 or 9 deliveries here. It's Sampal Kami who's bowled for 2. It's 162 for 8. Another appeal from Jesse Singh, as it's Sagar Dakal who gets a single, which is going to be given as a leg bye. It means Powell will finally get on to strike. He's a bit stranded. We think he might actually be on 48. And our graphics have just had a little bit of a meltdown here, being honest. We'll give you the score as we have it. We think it's 163 for 8. The scoreboard in the ground is also currently down. That's disagreeing with what we have. I think everyone's got confused by Sampal Kami running that second.
That and just the calamity of wickets that just fell. Everything happened really in short succession for the USA, taking a lot of steam out, but Baldo will have an opportunity at 50, but he's left too many balls on the table where he wasn't on strike, Lenny.
This is the final delivery of the innings. We are pretty sure the score is 163 for 8, although the scoreboard on the ground shows 161. We'll get that checked. Powell 2 away from 50. Gets it down towards long off. Now Dakel's going to try run the second. Powell's really going to have to go to get home, and he's going to be run out just short of what would have been yet another T20I 50. Selfless cricket from the captain. There's been an absolute collapse of wickets. We have seen 5 wickets fall in the last 7 balls, remarkably. Absolute carnage for the scorers. We think the score is 164 for 9, but we're not altogether certain.
Not altogether certain. What we are certain about is that we didn't see enough of Rohit Baldo in that final over. He had to have been on strike for more than just the 2 deliveries he faced. He had to be there to face the majority of it. He's done well to claw his team into this position alongside Dipender Singh Airi. We talked about that partnership, 66 off 37 at one point. But you just don't feel they've had enough runs on the board yet, Lenny.
Yeah, really good recovery from that position of 93 for 4 when Gulshan Jha was dismissed with a rather ambitious stroke attempting to reverse sweep or switch hit Harmeet Singh. And we're not going to be able to bring you scorecards because, yeah, it's complete carnage. The latest we have is we think the score is 164 for 9. I'm just going to guide you through the batting efforts. Anil Shah and Asif Sheikh both made 27 at the top. Kushal Bertel in his new role at number 3, 10 off 13. And then the 2 standout innings for me were the 49 off 33 from Rohit Powell and the 28 off 17 from Dipender Singh Airi. We still are out by a run from what I believe, because Powell got a single off the last ball and was run out. So I think it's 164 for 9, but we will try to get that tidied up. For the bowlers, Aman, certainly the 5 that were used were pretty impressive. The standout, though, Harmeet Singh.
Yeah, 100% Harmeet Singh. His 2 wickets changed the game. 4 overs, 18 runs with those 2 wickets. He was brilliant, and key wickets in key moments as well. Jesse Singh was good, 2 wickets to his name with 35. Sarabjit Tendulkar, the 2 at the end, kind of helped his figures a bit with 35 runs. Ali Khan takes 1 wicket and let the crowd know about it as he gave up 31 runs and took that wicket. Anash Kenjage struck right after Harmeet got his first. So that tandem was probably the biggest blow. One for 36, and the USA feel very happy with what they did with the ball in hand.
Yeah, certainly a big moment in the game as well. Ali Khan's wicket, wasn't it? Slightly controversial, the LBW that was given, and I don't think the Nepal fans will be too happy with that one. That's going to wrap up our coverage for the first innings. We're going to leave it to the official match scorers as to whether or not it's 163 or 164. There's a disparity in the ground on the scoreboard here with what our scorers and others have online. But we will be back with all the action. It should be 20 minutes between the innings. It might be a little less. Sometimes it is. The ground staff are out doing their work, and we'll be back with you with every single ball of the second innings. What could be a really entertaining chase. Who's going to go 1-0 up in this stake? Stars and Summit Trophy 2024. Will it be USA or will it be Nepal? You'll find out with us very soon. Welcome back to the Grand Prairie Stadium. We're here in Texas for this match number 1 of the inaugural Stake Stars and Summit Trophy 2024. 3 high-octane T20 internationals between the United States of America and Nepal. We've seen a really entertaining first innings in what is actually the first ever official T20 international between these two sides. They did meet in a T20 that didn't have status back then, all the way back in 2015 in Belfast in Northern Ireland. The great man Shakti Gauchan was the player of the match with 3 for 16, as Gyanendra Malla also made 52 runs, with Nepal taking a 6-wicket victory that day. They would love to repeat the dose today, but to do so they will have to bowl and field really well. They've got a total on the board that we feel is right around par. It's confirmed as being 164 for 9 from their 20 overs. We've seen the 2 opening batters walk out. The American captain, Manak Patel, is at the striker's end, and that's Saiteja Mukamala at the non-striker's end. It's going to be Rijan Dakal with the ball for Nepal, and you're going to have the company of me, Andrew Leonard, alongside Peter Della Penna. Peter, great to be with you again. It's been a long day. We both actually only travelled over this morning, but we've been brought to life by a great first innings.
Did you just say Shakti the Power?
I had to give Shakti a shout out. What a man he is. Great to see him continue to invest in the future of the game in Nepal. He's involved with academies and coaching, and there is a really healthy, mainly Nepalese crowd in cheering on their heroes, who they've come out in good numbers on a chilly Thursday evening. It was lovely around 7 o'clock when we were starting, but it's got a bit cold. Rijan Dakal, he only made his T20I debut last month. He's got the new ball in hand. It's 165 to win. We're all set. Here we go. Now, one thing to watch out for, and the reason why Nepal are opening the bowling from the racecourse end of the ground, Peter, is it's a much shorter leg side boundary for the 2 right-handers here. And out to the offside, well, it's acres of space.
Another interesting thing to note here, Andries Gauss and Simon Kamala formed a pretty potent opening combination in the absence of Manak Patel when he was injured. The T20I leg of that Namibia tour. Now that he's healthy, it's Andries Gauss who's made way. He'll be coming in at number 3 in the lineup for USA.
A little bit of movement back into the right-handers. We see that key currency, don't we, of left-arm fast bowlers. Yeah, Peter, I agree fully. 62, 41, 33 and 61, the 4 opening stands down in Namibia, as the USA won that T20I tri-series that followed the Cricket World Cup League 2 ODIs. Surprised to see that change?
Only because I'm a believer in if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they had so much success together, I would say keep it going. But Manak, his preferred position in T20 cricket anyway, is as an opener.
Oh, now how is this missed? It's cut Manak Patel in half. He's advanced down the wicket. Rijan Dakal isn't necessarily quick, but he's very skillful. And I don't know how this has missed the off stump.
Well, I'm scratching my head here, and I'm sure plenty of people watching at home will be doing the same on this replay.
Oh,
how was it missed?
It might have even just... Has it kissed the off stump? Have we seen one that has not quite taken the bails off?
There's a little whisper.
Maybe just a nuzzle of the off stump. Manak Patel very fortunate to survive. That's not the right line down the leg side. Peter, who's favourites here? America on home soil with their great run of form under Stuart Law?
Well, traditionally, we've seen since this ground has been opened, you really need to be scoring 180 plus if you're going to be competitive. And USA fans in particular will remember the chase they had against Canada on this ground was a record-setting chase. They chased down a target of 195, and they did it with 14 balls to spare, Lenny. That was from a situation when they were 48 for 3 after 8 overs, and then Aaron Jones went out of his mind and play the innings of his life and one of the great innings in American cricket history. That unbeaten 90.
Quite remarkable innings, wasn't it? Particularly from the position in the game where I think at one point they needed the best part of 13 runs per over.
Unbeaten 94. I need to correct myself. So memorable that I missed it by 4 runs, Lenny. 94 off 40 balls. I knew there was a 0 in there somewhere.
Starting to develop a bit of a penchant for that as well, isn't he? You saw his heroics in the CPL final, again from an unpromising position. As he looks for the away swinger this time. Good skills from Rajan Dakal, but just a little bit too much to the leg side. In that final, his CPL side were in all sorts of trouble. It looked like they were dead and buried. Darren Sammy, the head coach, came out for a bit of a chat, didn't he? Have I got the names right? I think I've got the names right there. Darren Sammy came out at the drinks break, had a word, and all of a sudden, the St. Lucia Kings turned it all around.
Yeah, and that chase, Aaron Jones, was basically deja vu in that situation.
Looks for that away swinger now. Again, this hasn't missed the stumps by much. There is definitely a little bit of movement with the new ball here in the second innings that we didn't see much of in the first innings.
Aaron Jones was 10 off 19 and then finished on 48 off 31.
Likes to make it interesting.
He likes to make people sweat. He doesn't sweat. Everybody else sweats.
And again, I saw the highlights. I wasn't watching the game live, but I saw the highlights, and it was predominantly that kind of favoured slog sweep that he likes to go to. Huge self-belief. As Aaron Jones, as this one hits the pad, it's pitched outside the leg stump. It shouldn't be given out, and it's not, but there was a run-out chance. And Patel did well to get back in. If he got caught watching the umpire there, he could well have been run out. Instead, it's a leg by to round out the first over, and the score is 7 for none.
Peter Delapenna and Andrew Leonard here at Grand Prairie Stadium. For those of you just joining us around the world, USA restricted Nepal to 164 for 9 in the first innings. Harmeet Singh, Saurabh Netravalkar, Jesse Singh all taking 2 wickets. And it was Rohit Paudel, the captain, who top scored with 49 before getting run out on the final ball of the innings, trying to stretch it from 49 into a half century. Would have been his second in a row after he had one to round out the tour of Canada. Karen KC comes on from the media end to take the new ball alongside Rajan Dakal. The river end, we're calling it. We got the race course end and the river end, the 2 R's.
And the DJ might just want to cut the tunes. He does, as Karen KC comes in to America's captain. And there is movement, isn't there? Definite movement. 2 full, gets away with it. This shift to get Mayank Patel back up to open the batting, who will have dictated that? Will that have been Patel himself? Will that have been Stuart Law? Or how will that have worked?
He's the captain. He calls the shots. He's the boss in the USA squad. Hey, if you're the captain, why not?
Yeah, missed all 4 T20Is down in Windhoek with recurrence of that shoulder injury that ruled him out of the World Cup. Nice length, but hit into the leg side, and Gulshan Jah has to get the dive out to cut it off. The Nepal fans, I'm not sure what they're being spurred on by. Maybe a few Thursday evening drinks they're enjoying, but they're coming even more to life, aren't they? Everything being cheered now.
Well, I have no doubt that they would have gone to some of the Nepalese dining establishments around the city and filled up on some momo before they got into the stadium.
You gotta love your momo, Peter. There's nothing better. I don't know if you're watching the King City coverage, but up in Canada there was a momo truck that came every day. Incredible scenes.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Momo truck parked outside on the weekend here in the parking lot.
Now, Mukamala not able to counteract that length. For Nepal to win this game, do they need wickets early, or will the required run rate come into the equation as well?
Well, the bigger thing is just making sure USA doesn't run away here in the power play in the first 10 overs. Just build a bit of pressure, build pressure through keeping the runs down, whether that's through wickets or just dot balls the old-fashioned way. Just get that run rate climbing, and then you'll put some pressure on USA.
Yeah, one of the things that certainly Nepal fans will be acutely aware of is their struggles at the death. They haven't really found the combination that they want to go to in the last 5 overs. There is no Abhinesh Bahara in this squad for the moment. I think that's a byproduct of the focus really being on the ODI leg of this North American tour. Now remember, they didn't pick up any wins in Cricket World Cup League 2 in Canada. They'll be desperate to put that right here in the ODIs that will follow this Stake Stars and Summits trophy. Scotland come into play in that triangular series. As Mukamala chips it up towards Rohit Powdell, who takes the catch to send Nepal's fans into euphoria. And it is the early wicket. It's the big one too. The man in red hot form. Mukamala holds out and KC gets the breakthrough.
Well, he just felt there was that slight bit of pressure building, top ball pressure. Mukamala twice didn't get the single that he wanted. Arguably should have been able to take a single on the previous ball, but stayed put and then tried to play a release shot going over the top and didn't time it all that well. And it means he's gone for 2. Picks up Powdell on the ring, backpedaling from mid-off. USA 8 for 1 in the second.
Andries House in at number 3, who's had such an impact in his nascent international career. South African pedigree and origin, and well, he's taken like a duck to water to American cricket. And big news as well, Peter De La Penna, because he's been one of the first officially confirmed signings, overseas signings that is, in the new Nepal Premier League that will get going on the 30th of November. He signed for the PIRARE Avengers. Good name for a franchise team, that, isn't it? The PIRARE Avengers. So they have House in their ranks. Karen KC closes out an excellent first over. Just the 1 run from it and the big wicket of Mukamala too. USA 8 for 1. What beautiful shots we've been given here by the drone camera. And we want to thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching back in Nepal, you'll be on Kantapur TV HD as the keeper comes up to the stumps, Asif Sheikh. Bowls him! Bowls him, bowls him, bowls him! And Dakal goes through, and Nepal have 2.
Well, we've seen the stumps get knocked back quite a few times tonight. Usually by spin in the first innings. This time it's pace doing the trick. Rajan Dakal just got that one to nip back ever so slightly. Monak Patel was driving for that one on a 4th stump line, and it just curled in ever so slightly to take back off stump. The captain is out for 3, and it's 8 for 2.
Well, the man we were just talking about, Aaron Jones, comes to the crease. The hero against Canada during the opening match of the T20 World Cup that was played here at this very venue. And the hero in the recently concluded Caribbean Premier League final as St. Lucia Kings got their hands on the trophy. But he's got a tall task at hand. It's the best part of 9 runs required per over. And we spoke about Nepal needing early wickets. They've got 2. And they may well have 3. This is full. This is straight. And given not out. Well, wait for the signal. Wait for the signal. The umpire gives it as runs. He's trying to indicate that there's bat involved, although he's indicating it's going down the leg side. This looked very, very close, Peter Della Penna.
Well, if there's no inside edge, this is stone dead. I thought it was out live, and I think it's out on the replay, too. I can't believe that was given not out. I thought that was as straightforward as it gets. And Aaron Jones, well, USA has gotten the benefit of the doubt on a lot of decisions tonight. That Ali Khan wicket in the power play looked like it was missing leg stump. This one is ripping out leg stump. Aaron Jones is still batting, though.
Most remarkably, Peter, as well, it's given as runs. So is the indication from the umpire potentially that there's some bat involved?
No. I know he didn't signal. There was no bat. There was no bat involved in that one. Aditya Gajra, the umpire, making that decision. We saw Vijay Malelo give one very favorably in the field to Ali Khan on an LBW appeal in the first innings.
It just looked right, this one, didn't it? It definitely pitched in line. We'll try and get a look after this delivery once more. I was convinced that the finger was going to go up. It looked full, it looked straight.
It's just one of those nights, Lenny, where when we're not looking at the umpires, the finger goes up, and when we're looking at the umpires waiting for the finger to go up, they keep it down.
We might get one more look now if we can. Here it is. Now the question is, has it pitched in line? I think yes is the answer to that. It's leg stump, isn't it, that you suspect that's going to cannon into?
Well, and you can. The other giveaway is Aaron Jones. He's looking at it for a leg by. I think he knows he hasn't hit it, and I think he's looking back partially to see where the ball has gone for leg by, and partially because he knows he doesn't want to look at the umpire. He doesn't want to see the finger go up.
The look of fear. Well, Dakal's causing all sorts of problems. Great skills. Moving it both ways. And Andrew's House will have to knuckle in. Be interesting to see how much Gulshan Jah is used with the ball.
Well, there's been a lot of shouting by you in this over, Andrew Leonard, as we get a really zoomed-in replay. I can't see an inside edge here, and I don't think anybody back in Tom L or Kathmandu or Pokhara is seeing an inside edge either, Mr. Leonard.
Maybe just missing leg is what the umpire's indicating.
If so, because it's hitting middle, if that's the case. It's not missing the stumps. It's hitting some part of the stumps.
Flirting with leg stump. Really good over. Superb start from Rajan Dakal. He got one in the over. He could have had 2. 3 have been bowled. It's 10 for 2. I think it's hitting leg.
10 for 2. USA chasing a target of 165. Peter Delapena alongside Andrew Leonard here at Grand Prairie Stadium. Now, Lenny, you were doing a lot of shouting that last over for wickets and maybe wickets. Got a message that's come in here from somebody whose name is written in Devanagari script, so I don't know how to translate that. But this person is a Nepalese fan who lives in Dallas. That's what it says. Hey, Peter. Would you please stop being so noisy and shouting during the commentary when wickets are falling down? As soon as you did that, my baby who is sleeping woke up. Well, we can understand why that might happen because it's 7:45 back in Nepal. So there's a lot of early risers tuning into the coverage.
Is he not watching from Texas, he said?
Well, he might have moved. I don't know. He could be visiting family. I can't imagine the baby sleeping at, well, maybe 8:45.
You do get excited, Peter. You're a passion for the game.
Well, it's an exciting game. This is cricket. This isn't church. This isn't the temple. This is a sporting event.
Slight hold-up in play here as there's some attention needing to be paid to Andreas House's bat. He's getting a new grip applied to the bat. We're going to try and get a look at the wickets. Nice moment of a special moment, really, isn't it, for Rajan Dackle? How much of this credit should go not just to the bowler but to the captain, Rohit Paudel, who got the keeper up to the stump, so that put the pressure on Patel, who was trying to get down the wicket.
Yeah, just a subtle thing can make a big difference. So good captaincy from Rohit Paudel, who took a catch in the previous over.
I'll tell you what was a nice moment for Paudel as well. You and I were both here, Peter, weren't we, for the Nepal versus Netherlands game on the 4th of June during that World Cup, and it was such a special occasion, a festive occasion, that Ian Bishop actually commented upon it in the final game in Barbados. He said it was his moment of the tournament. He said seeing 7,200 Nepal fans, or 7,150, alongside the 30 or 40 or 50 Dutch fans that came in, the friends and family. And it was Paudel that dropped the catch in that game that may well have turned that match around. Max O'Dowd, he put down at long off. This is chipped in the air and wide of the mid-wicket fielder and short of mid-on. So maybe just a touch of redemption for a moment that, for someone who's such a good fielder, I can't remember Rohit Paudel dropping a catch he put down during the World Cup. Yeah,
that was on the opposite side of the ground. That was at the racecourse side. We were on the far side where the media box was set up during the World Cup, and that was shocking. Couldn't believe that. And the whole stadium rose to their feet in anticipation. They were ready to explode. And then the top never blew off. Never blew off because
Peter,
it went down, and the fans couldn't believe it.
You've covered cricket, Peter. I know quite literally in all the corners of the world, all the outposts of the cricketing world, and at some of the biggest events there's been. And this is whipped into the leg side. Jazz going to have to slide to keep it to a single. Does really well. Can you remember an atmosphere as special as that? It was contagious, wasn't it?
Well, there were a couple of remarkable things about it. First and foremost, that was a 10:30 in the morning start on a weekday, and yet the place was jam-packed before the first ball was bowled. And the energy, the sound during the national anthems, I remember quite clearly. And you just couldn't believe something like that could happen in America, or anywhere for that matter, for two associates. The last time I remember an atmosphere like that for two associate teams playing was when Afghanistan and Ireland faced off against each other, when both teams still had associate status, and they had those finals at the qualifier in Dubai and Abu Dhabi back in the early 2010s.
Shapur Zadran coming in off the long run.
And Dalit Zadran and Hamid Hassan.
Paul Sterling and Trent Johnston smashing them everywhere.
You know, all that kind of stuff. Those atmospheres were electric, especially 2010, because that was the year that Afghanistan qualified for the first ever World Cup. It was gorgeous and sunny in the daytime. I just think traditionally, whether in MLC or in the T20s that have been played here, the preference is to chase at night. Again, that chase that USA had chasing the target of 195 against Canada on the opening night of the World Cup, that was at night.
Yeah, that is not the right line. It's flicked away all the way for 6. It's a good stroke to the shorter side, and House finally gets himself moving. And a little bit of congratulations from Aaron Jones. And the few American fans that are heavily outnumbered, they celebrate heartily.
And this is a ground, again, with the way the boundaries are configured tonight, you can make up runs quickly. One good over on the batting side, one bad over on the bowling side. Suddenly, that required run rate is going to drop sharply. And you can score very quickly on this ground. USA will be banking on that, just that one loose over.
Flicked away again, going to be back-to-back boundaries. The exact same part of the ground, this time along the ground, not in the air, and it's 10 runs from 2 deliveries just like that for USA.
Well, it's only a third of the way gone through this over, and they've already collected 11 runs. This is what we were just talking about moments ago. What looked like a positive, aggressive decision at the start of this over by keeping Rajan Dakalan may now be backfiring for Nepal, as they've got 3 guys out now. There's a lot of confusion out there that Andries Gauss is creating. They had the final leg pushed out. Now they're bringing the final leg back into the ring. It's long on and deep backward square leg, the 2 boundary riders at the moment in the power play.
Be a single this time. I don't mind the move, even if this over goes for 15 and they don't get the wicket. I think it's the positive move. I don't think Dakal has shown that he's quite got the skills yet, even though he bowls a good slower ball, to bowl 2 consecutively at the death. So it's an aggressive move. It's not something you see altogether too often at the very very top level of T20 international cricket. Some of the bigger teams don't like going 3 in a row from the same bowler. But I think when the conditions are in your favour, it's no bad thing. And if he could still get a 3rd wicket here in the power play, it would be big advantage to Nepal.
Well, you never know, Lenny. If he takes a wicket off these last 3 balls, we could be on the verge of a Kalimullah.
We have to rename the Kalimullah as Dipender Singh Airi fields ever so quickly. Gets a big ovation from the crowd. Kalimullah was shorn of his usual death bowler for Oman during the Canada series. Bilal Khan out with a shoulder injury, so he was having to bowl 2 at the start and 2 at the death. He was pioneering a new Kalimullah 2.0. That's that little cutter that he bowls. Definitely a change of pace.
I'm curious, Lenny. I got to go back to the message I got. Being chastised for waking up a sleeping baby. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think that the amount of Nepal games that you do and the amount of excitement that you bring to the commentary box, you would be getting a lot more of these messages than I would about waking sleeping babies.
I don't wake the babies, Peter. I serenade them. There's a a different style, an ubiquitous difference in style between the two of us. End of the 5th over. It is 26 for 2.
.26 for 2 after 5 overs as Sagar Dakal is going to come on to bowl his left arm spin. USA chasing a target of 165. This is the first of 3 T20Is in this Stake Stars and Summit series here at Grand Prairie Stadium. And then it will be followed by 2 matches that the USA A squad is going to be playing in 50-over format, one against Nepal and one against Scotland, ahead of the 6-match Cricket World Cup League 2 ODI Tri-Series. The Stars and Summit series, Lenny, they were trying to go thematically with the DJ, with the song Chasing Stars, and the song, they got carried away. Kept on trying to play while Sagar Dakal was trying to bowl.
Yeah, Sagar Dakal, real chance for him. You talk about the redemption for Rohit Paudel with that catch. It's not necessarily redemption for Dakal, but Dakal played that first T20 World Cup game here, the one we were just talking about against the Netherlands. Bowled 4 overs, none for 21. Wasn't used again, and actually hasn't played internationally since. Did play those games against the Canada HP teams with good success, but with no Sandeep Lamachani in the team, he's the one who's come into the squad. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes in these conditions. Different kind of bowler to Ken Jagay or Harmeet Singh, but we've seen left arm spin be effective here.
Jones, not the first time he's been a slow starter, so it shouldn't be something that USA fans get too alarmed about seeing him chew up 3-dot balls here. Only becomes a problem if he winds up getting out after soaking up these dot balls. He's somebody who can accelerate. Once he gets the ball 20, he can go bonkers.
Single. Didn't need the direct hit. That was how quick he was. And Jones, well, he's run himself out.
Well, this should have been a single. But he got into dot ball mode, and I think Andres Kaus was lulled into dot ball mode at the non-strikers end because I think he thought one of those previous deliveries, maybe they could have snuck a single. And he said, all right, if you don't want to run a single on those other ones, well, I'm just going to stand put at the non-strikers end for this ball, too. This really should have been a single off the bat. Jones didn't respond initially, and Gauss stayed put at the non-strikers end thinking, all right, you're not taking a couple strides out of your crease when the ball is coming off the bat, so I'll stay put. And then suddenly Aaron Jones just tried to run. Andres House wasn't ready for it. He's halfway down the wicket. House still isn't interested. And then Dipender Singh Irie, very alert, getting the relay to
Asif Sheikh.
Asif Sheikh behind the stumps. And Aaron Jones has to go off, and it brings Milan Kumar to the crease.
Well, we're not in a great position or a great angle to adjudicate how close this was as Milan Kumar comes to the crease. He's in at number 5. I thought he might have got back. I was almost surprised when the finger went up, but we'll see if we can bring you the replay now.
Well, he didn't put in a dive, and I think he thought he was going to get back, not necessarily comfortably, but the fact that he didn't need to put in a dive.
And you just have to question the decision of trying to run a single to Dipender Singh Irie. Here's another look at it here. You can see House took a step at first, but it's straight to Irie, and he's so quick. That's not going to be the angle that's going to tell us. We'll probably need to see that one once more.
Well, that's definitely out. That's definitely out from that side angle. But what you don't see on that down the pitch when it came off the bat, House took 2 steps, but Jones stayed put.
Oh, this so nearly bowls him, and a kind of afterthought appeal for LBW. But the umpire says there's a bit of bat involved. The question was it pad first? It's all happening in Grand Prairie. The power play belongs to Nepal. We'll come back with those replays. It's 27 for 3.
Well, just watch. Well, this is the shot, and that. Oh, dear. Was there pad involved in that? And did it come straight off the bat? There was definitely bat. 27 for 3 after 6.
Nice and symmetrical.
Sampal Kami. Been around an awfully long time as Sampal Kami. Didn't play that game back in 2015 that these two sides met in. Or he did play that game. I knew he was playing the T20 World Cup the year before. I didn't think he was in the team that day. So Jesse Singh, the sole survivor from the USA end. And Sampal Kami, one of the survivors from 2015, all the way back in Belfast, where Nepal came out on top. Aman Patel rejoins me. Aman, great to be with you. Thank you for all your insight in that first innings. Nepal are ahead of the game here by quite a distance.
Yeah, you'd have to say so. Again, Aaron Jones is in such a great run of form. So is STIDIUM Kamala. They're both back, and both back cheaply. You're 28 for 3 after the power play. How often do we talk about that? That wickets in the power play tend to lead to success. Good running from the USA. This will have to be key. They'll have to match Nepal. What did they do when they started to rebuild? Rohit Baldwin came in, found the gaps, and took quick doubles.
Going to see if we can get one more look at that replay of the run out, because, well, it's almost a cardinal error. It's a cardinal sin. Anyone who knows associate cricket, let alone world cricket now, they know about this man at cover. And you just don't take a single to Dipender Singh Irie. And House came half a step, but look at the speed. It's just, even if the throw was slightly off target, I tell you, it's a good decision as well. Not out by far.
And not out by quite, out by quite a bit. And like you said, don't run on Deepinder Singh Airi. It's one of the rules that you have in your book. It would have to be a coaching point as well. And Andres House never looked interested in that run either. Aaron Jones immediately pointed back, acting as if that House was halfway down, and felt Jones was late to start. And that's what just almost happens, as you mentioned. Peter Della Penna talked about dot ball mode. Almost happens when you get into that dot ball mode, you just tend to find lulls to sleep. Gampi, though, he's going to want to find himself the right line. And I think he's got a big opportunity to impact the game. Milind Kumar is a great player of spin. Played a lot of cricket in India, led the Ranji Trophy in runs before he came to the United States back in 2020. He was the leading run scorer in Ranji, and it was for what he did against spin. That's what he's known for. Again, that's that run out yet again. That's the reason Milind Kumar's out there. Like you mentioned, brilliant work by Sheikh behind the stumps as well.
I think it's an excellent decision. You watch that the third time now and you go, oh, well, of course it's out.
Right.
But particularly from the angle we had at first, you're looking at it going, maybe he's got back. You have to question Jones, how fast he was on the turn, also the lack of a dive. Just a bit of a sloppy piece of cricket there from every aspect. Strategically, to not recognise the fact that it is Deepinder Singh Airi. And then, well, really, he's only got himself to blame for being back in the hutch. A slower ball, changed up. One of the things that will keep USA in this contest is Nepal's struggles at the death, but that required run rate's going to start to come into the game more and more. What are they thinking as they go along here? What would they like to be maybe after 10 overs?
I think for the USA, it's less about that run column. I think it's more about those wickets. You still have plenty of bats in the shed. Shahinja and Gear to come gives you good depth alongside Harmeet Singh. Nash Kinjige can score some runs as well. So you have bats at your disposal. It's just getting to a point where you can utilize them. So I think they'd be happy going at a run a ball at this stage till the 10th over, as long as they keep that 3 in the wicket column.
They're also under a kind of pressure that really, with the exception of those games against the Netherlands in August, that they haven't really been under since Stuart Law's come into place. 4-0 clinical series victory, unbeaten against Canada down in Prairie View. 2-1 series victory over Bangladesh, their first ever over a full member nation. That was also in Texas, although at the different venue down in Prairie View, not here in Grand Prairie. Shout out to our camera team up on the cherry picker up top. I'd say it's a bit chilly up there, lads. Give us a wave. They probably can't hear us, but we're waving to you, lads, anyway. Then an exceptional World Cup run where they got through to the Super 8s. Another drop and run single attempt, and need to be careful. I think Anil Kumar Shah thought that this was half a chance. Look at the energy, the positivity from Nepal. But then it was only those defeats to the Netherlands, because when they went down to Windhoek, they won 7 from 8. They've been so brilliant under Stuart Law.
No, they have been incredibly good, again, under Stuart Law, and they've never seemed to take pressure on. Even against Canada in the World Cup, you felt that they were always in the game, even as that run rate got up towards 14. And right now, you can just see Milind Kumar and Andres House typically wouldn't have batted a lot together in really any stage of domestic cricket in the United States or with the USA team. And you can just see, right, there's a little bit of confusion on when to go, when to stop, and Nepal are finding the energy. And you don't need a lot for Nepal to get the energy here, especially with this crowd and this group, the momentum swiftly with the Nepalese.
Now, this looks close. Massive appeal. The umpire has a long think, and he says no. And to add a bit of insult to injury, they come back for another one. Cammy, he's not going to get it over the stumps, is he? What's this missing? Given his leg, boys.
Well, we've seen the tail in pretty consistently from Sampal Kami. He's just missed the line. This time he's gotten it absolutely right. Milind Kumar playing down the wrong one. That looks like it's going to castle onto stumps.
Well, well, well.
Nepal feel hard done by some of these decisions. And the 7th over will come and go. It's 34 for 3, rather fortunately for the USA.
Well, big moments in the match, and we've just seen another massive one. Sampal Kami, the final delivery of his first over. We were just praising Aditya Gajar's decision for the run out, but a massive LBW appeal. Sampal Kami bowls a skiddy, fast ball. What is this missing?
Missing the umpire lifting his finger. That's the only thing this one's missing. That looks dead for all money.
Well, everything about it was right, wasn't it?
Yeah, swinging in. It was on a great length. It hit below the knee roll. You only saw off stump. I'm not sure what that was missing. Gajar felt there was enough to miss. But, again, you take another look. He shuffled across. He's standing in front of middle stump. It's hit him on the knee roll, if not below. And he's giving it a leg by as well. That's the biggest thing. And you can see him just say no.
Look at the pain, the pure pain for Sampal Kami. He couldn't believe it. It's almost one you kind of celeb appeal on, isn't it? Ball's just skidding on a bit, isn't it, under lights? And USA haven't adjusted particularly well to that. Milan Kumar taking a little while to get going. They've kind of had the rub of the green, haven't they, on all the marginal decisions thus far?
Yeah, you'd have to say so, starting with the Ali Khan decision. And right now, out there in the middle, you can just see a sort of tension from the USA side. They're just not sure what gear to play in. Milan Kumar was struggling. Andres House just found rhythm. We saw him hit 2 back-to-back boundaries, and then Aaron Jones gets dismissed. So now he's been held off of the strike, and he's got to find his flow again. And there isn't as much dew around the ground as maybe in June that we had. And there's a couple of reasons for it. Obviously, we're later part of the fall, but also Dave Agnew started putting down a little bit of a wax on the grass that keeps the dew off from keeping onto the leaf. So it doesn't seem to affect the ball as much. The spinners still get enough purchase as the day goes on.
Full toss gets away with it. Yeah, it can be very difficult, can't it, with the dewy ball for the spin bowlers. And again, it's something that they're starting to get more and more exposure at this, the leading associate teams, but they just haven't played a huge amount of cricket comparatively under floodlights. So all of these opportunities in a venue as brilliant as this one are great learning opportunities for both sides. But Nepal on top at the moment, and House is just taking a while to get going himself as well. Dakal's been impressive, none for 7 for him. 8 have been bowled. It's 40 for 3. Well, Sampal Kami is going to continue, and he so nearly had the 4th wicket as blinded by the lights rings out around the Grand Prairie Stadium. It is a phenomenal facility, this. Aman, you've been part of the Major League journey right the way from its inception, the minor league journey. And this is flicked away, and it's going to be 4. Nothing that Arif Sheikh could do. A low full toss, and that's not going to help Sampal Kami's mood.
Yeah, speaking of the major and minor league journey, Andres Kraus has been there from the very beginning, and he's made a name in 4 short years as the best domestic bat amongst the circuit. He's now the 3rd leading run scorer in minor league cricket, but he's played 9 less innings, and he averages 10 more than anyone else in the history of minor league, and it's because of this. He's able to find pockets and gaps and find runs, take advantage of bad bowling, and he'll start at around a 120 strike rate, and then from there we'll get up to that 140. And he doesn't miss out. That's the one thing about Andres Kraus. He doesn't invent, but he doesn't miss out.
Does have a great habit, doesn't he? As the DJ continues with the tunes throughout that ball. He's a great habit of catching up. But speaking about minor league and major league, you've literally seen it the whole way through. How much of an impact has that had on American cricket?
I think you can see it from the international results. I think the talent pool is deeper than it's ever been. I think they're playing better cricket across the board from the very top level to the lowest level of, you would say, of the young players just introducing themselves into minor league. You're seeing guys that, young 16-year-olds make an impact and start to play really good cricket earlier. And I think that's a big credit to how much cricket they're playing, how much high-level cricket they're playing in the minor league.
protection out there, so just be a single. And it's still very much in its kind of embryonic stages, even though minor league's been around 4 years now. Major League continues to look to grow and grow, and then you've a player like House is probably the perfect example of it. He kind of comes from that straight into international cricket and hits the ground running then.
Yeah, again, Andres Kraus, Milan Kumar, even a part of that example. Shaheen Jahangir was an example of that back in 2023 when he debuted for the USA. So you're seeing them emerge there, but it's helped a guy like Saiteja Mukamala, a homegrown, jump into the team.
Now mix up and a direct hit from Dakal makes it tight. House is running between the wickets, doesn't seem to be on the same wavelength as some of his partners. We're going to see that with Nepal now introducing their Premier League that's going to start on the 30th of November. We've seen all of the domestic players given out amongst 8 teams. 6 teams in Major League at the moment. Yep. Maybe expansion down the line, you'd see?
Yeah, I think that's the talk. I read an article with a couple of the owners of Major Leagues. You see this kind of mixed up in the middle. Milan Kumar will get back, but they're wanting eventually to expand out to 8 to maybe 12 teams and have 2-month season starting in June, and talks of even moving into the Great White North in Canada.
Back live with you now, and worked into the offside. House wants the second this time. Jazz throw into the keeper's end. Won't catch Kumar short. Yeah, certainly you talk about the importance of those domestic leagues, and then I suppose the franchise opportunities for players overseas. We've seen House be signed by the Nepal Premier League, but he's gone around the world, isn't he? Harmeet Singh's been picked up a couple of places. You'd imagine Sarav Netravalkar is going to be in demand. We spoke about Aaron Jones down at the CPL. All of a sudden, American cricketers very much in demand. Yeah,
Nash Kinjagay's gone over to gone into Abu Dhabi. Same with Andres Kraus in the T10 formats, and talks of Netravalkar maybe getting into the IPL, and I'm sure it's going to help Nepali cricket in the same way it's helped USA cricket. 9 gone, 47 for 3.
So just approaching the halfway stage. We'll have a drinks break at the 10 over mark. USA 47 for 3. Just trying to rebuild after those early 3 wickets. There easily could have been a 4th. A very close LBW call as Milan Kumar is asking for, I think it's a change in bat. And now this is a fascinating move. There is no Sandeep Lamachani for the moment. I'm not going to preempt anything because I don't know the situation right now. It obviously needs a visa to get into the country. I believe there is still some talk. Hopefully he might be here for the ODIs. I'm not sure we'll see him in the T20s. He certainly isn't here at the moment. So that means that the leg spin option for Nepal is Kushal Bertel. You know me and my numbers. You know I love numbers in cricket. I'm going to give you some numbers here. You might think of Bertel as a part-time leg spinner, and he is. There's no doubt about that. But you talk about how effective he is as a leg spinner. He hasn't bowled that much in international cricket because he came into the team predominantly as a batter. He bowled twice up in King City, took 5 wickets in the 2 games there, a 3 for and a 2 for. He now has 19 T20I wickets. As this one's down the leg side, at an average of 9.15. It's the lowest of anyone in T20 international cricket with more than 15 wickets.
Phenomenal. And he has a strike rate of 9.1 as well. So he's taking wickets. And he feels like that kind of T20 bowler where what he does so well, I think, is just how quick he is through the air. You don't get time to get underneath him. And then he does get it to almost just dip at the end.
He's got the variety as well. Bowls the googly. Like that one there. And you can see there he doesn't know which way it's going. He's saying it's coming out the front, and it's deceptive, isn't it? It looks innocuous. It does. I'm saying this as a former wrist spinner. It's not necessarily conventional leg spin, but maybe with no Lamachani, maybe he could be used quite a lot in this series. Now, massive boundary out there, but House is so good on the pull. He picks it up all the way for 6. I think we're going to have a lost ball because that's knocked off the concourse and gone out of the venue.
Well, American cricket fans have gotten used to this shot. This is a shot of liking for Andres House. He loves to rock onto the back foot against spinners. And even with the big boundary, there was no doubt once it left the bat that was going to go all the way for 6. Just as we were talking about how good Bartol's been, he just throws down a long hop. And Andres House, like we mentioned, isn't going to miss out.
Again, it hasn't worked. The 50s come up here. And we're going to actually have a wise call from the umpires because they need a lost ball. They're going to just take the drinks break with 2 balls left in the over. So it hasn't worked here necessarily, but I like the call from Powdle for 2 reasons. One, it's the final over before drinks. 2, it's got the massive leg side boundary. If House mishits that a bit, could have been caught out at deep cow, but instead it will get us to the break and play as Bertel will have a couple more balls to work with after this break. With 9.4 overs bowled, we'll have a break here in commentary. It's 55 for 3.